What is going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. Playing some Operation campaigns today on the Blood and Sand campaign. So I'm on Fort Feo using the Heavy Bomber again. Haven't been back to the Heavy Bomber or the pilot class at all since my level 5 pilot plays Heavy Bomber video that I had made. You guys can go check that out if you want. Some pretty interesting stuff, being that I really never play the pilot class, so I'm trying out the Heavy Bomber and seeing how well I can do. It's pretty impressive to say for this specific type of airplane. Now, I have heard some stuff on Fort Feo that at the first sector there is no AA gun, so I wanted to see the carnage I could do if I got to be on the defending side, which I did get the chance to do this, and they're just lined up right underneath me to do damage. Now, only thing I guess I have to be concerned about is having any of the airplanes to take me out. Surprisingly, though, throughout this whole game, I had a solid team in my aircraft, so that was pretty nice, I guess you could say, to have that happen. And I guess that's kind of the one thing that should be able to exploit this on this map, is if you don't have any pilots that are competent in taking out these aircraft. So I mean, really, I guess I don't really know still if you can really defend this well, even with having teammates in your gunner seat to make this work. But from this game, at least, it seemed like that was kind of the case. Now, it was another story for my teammates on the ground. Normally, the reason why I like playing as an infantry player, or at least, you know, if I'm going to be in a vehicle, I'll play as a tanker class, just because I like to get on the capture zone. So I'm taking fire from enemy players. Had this a lot happen to me, but I was just able to get out of the range just enough. Begin to actually finally get used to the controls of the plane, swapping from that first person view back to the third person, using the spotting camera, all that type of stuff. So it allowed me to kind of focus more on trying to get away from, you know, the shots from, you know, light machine guns on the ground, as well from the AA guns that were eventually they are able to get onto, even though from the very beginning part here they're not really suspecting that, and it's really not too big of an issue, but they eventually catch on and begin to realize that you're going to want to focus on me and take me out. But I tell you what, that first beginning sector right here, if you're a pilot class and you like playing the Heavy Bomber, oh my god, you got to be like lit up. Having this specific campaigns for this month, at least, or half the month, it's going to be going on until April 23rd. So you still guys got a little bit more time to play this. So like I was saying, it's got to be a dream if you definitely enjoy playing as the pilot class. So got an Operation Battle Pack again today. Again, nothing new in it so far. Still the same melee piece weapons that we've been having to unlock since Operation campaigns first came out. Hoping that they'll eventually change that sooner than later, now that they've increased the chances of you unlocking those puzzle pieces. I know I was finally able to complete both those puzzle pieces, so hopefully they introduce something in there, because like I always say, those melee weapons always go a very long way. So I'm gonna come over here from the side now, try to take them out, but now I'm kind of not getting the whole group of them now, as they were able to push up, get past A, and I kind of have to remember again where people want to go on this map. It's been a while since I've been on Feo Fortress, so gotta remember like where they want to be at. And I know they're gonna be probably right past the little river, and trying to get back onto the land that's gonna be closer down where B is at. So yeah, definitely need to position myself a little bit better, and I'm gonna try to do it here, even though I want to watch out for those the airplanes trying to take me out. Trying to, even though I can't see anything there at all, I'm trying to position myself as best as I can for my teammates to shoot at the enemy players. That was the advantage of me finally getting used to the controls a little bit more, and now I'm kind of trying to position myself where I know I've jumped into the, you know, planes before, and I'm shooting against, you know, the planes. I'm like trying to like want the pilot to stabilize himself a little bit so I can just get a solid shot on that plane and take him out. So I try to do it like that for my teammates, so hopefully they have a little bit of an easier time taking out those planes. But I'm gonna swoop back over here again. I'm gonna take shots from the attack boat, which you can imagine could probably do some pretty solid damage on the planes themselves. So I imagine if I get up a little higher, though, they probably wouldn't be able to take me out. But I'm just gonna drop one on that attack boat. This is where I want to be at, but seems like still not quite where the majority of them are at. So I was just a little bit off on these flybys, and I think if I would have made it an attempt a little bit sooner, I think I would have been able to hold them back a little bit better. So that was a little bit on the unfortunate side there, and that's, I guess, part of the factor of me not playing as a heavy bomber on this map ever. So I think if I played this more, I got used to it, you begin to realize stuff like the flight paths that you can take, you know, to maybe avoid the AA guns, to avoid getting close to hitting the mountain, which I do right there. I have another situation coming up later in the game that I barely missed the ground. It's pretty epic, as I'm going to do another flyby back over here. Again, I was a little surprised I was alive as long as I was here. Even though I know you don't have the AA gun at the very beginning, I was expecting some more just firepower, I guess, from the enemy team's airplanes, and that was not the case. As you can see, there are 20-0 right now, not doing too bad. Just again, it's pretty amazing to see that consistently on Fatal Fortress. It seems like, you know, it's always been that map that does kind of favor the airplanes. If you remember the heavy bomber, or you know, the bomber AA gun gameplay that was going on very early on when Battlefield first launched, and how DICE had to kind of scramble around later on and put some AA guns and try to fix the map up a little bit to make it less of the air superiority on this map. But for the most part, since this AA gun, or since the heavy bomber has come back in the game, basically it seems like it's right back at that part, as I'm going to get a plethora of kills right there, but the AA gun is going to take me out. The nice thing is I'm going to be able to jump right back into the heavy bomber, but this time I'm going to try to do a flyby by that AA gun, see if I can take it out. And this is what I was just saying a second ago, where finding those paths, I guess, more over time, if I did play this, I probably could maybe catch him off guard. I don't know, maybe swoop all the way around the map and come up from behind him. You know, I don't know. I really don't know. This is the first time me playing heavy bomber on this map. I think I'm going to be able to get him right there, but the plane's going to get me from behind. So after this, though, I'm not going to have to deal with much of the AA guns after this, I don't think. I don't really remember them really doing too much damage onto me after this. I think probably because they are able to quickly cap this next territory pretty fast. Even though I'm going to try to go a little bit lower to avoid the gun, I thought maybe that might be the better approach. Trying to do a quick flyby. I could quickly just drop some of the bombs there, but if I keep going a little bit lower on the ground, I figured he would run into the buildings and wouldn't be able to shoot me. You know, I'm just barely going to just miss clipping the water. That's not the moment I have that I was speaking about earlier, where I just barely miss hitting the ground, but that was a pretty close one there, and I guess that kind of works. So is that a good flight path? I don't really know, but that's what I've been kind of thinking about more. Now that I'm getting used to flying this airplane, I've been thinking more about, you know, what flight paths would be able to work better to avoid maybe the AA gun or catch them off guard, and position myself in, you know, a better place to take out more enemy players. Now, it seems like they were using the heavy bomber as well, which I don't know how much damage they were doing on my teammates, but I guess that makes it a bit easier for me. I deal with less airplanes in the air, even though, you know, you can have some gunners in that bomber could take you out, but for the most part, yeah, I only had to guess to really deal with one pilot basically the whole game, which they did continuously attack me on. But again, like I was saying, my teammates did a really good job taking care of my airplane here. So I'm gonna try to desperately throw down a little bit more of some support down for my teammates. I'm gonna get one right there, and we're gonna lose a sector. So that was a bit disappointing. Even though I got that spotting camera on, it was just a little bit too late. So a couple times there where I was just a little bit too late on getting onto the actual, I guess you could say, territory in the air, above it at least, to give my teammates some air support. And that's what I've kind of realizing more and more. It's like the timing of it is so important. You want to be able to be right at that moment where you can really help your teammates out, and you're not just farming kills, really, you know, as much as it's kind of what you always got to do when you're playing in the air. You got to kill people, but I guess what I'm kind of learning is I want to kill people at a specific time if I really want to help my teammates. You know, that's what I'm trying to figure out here. So gonna do another run here, trying to be a little bit more aggressive. Get a lot of people right here, or what it feels like a lot of people. I guess it wasn't that. I just saw me getting those hit markers, but I guess it's probably on one of the tanks or something. So I didn't really do much damage right there. It just feels like every time when you drop any bombs on anyone with this thing, it just feels like it's right up there with like a nuke, man. It's so intense, and it's just crazy. You can just shoot it blindly. I even shot one earlier where I couldn't even see it out of my camera, and I still was able to get something out of it. So it's just pretty crazy to think that, you know, what this can really do. So I'm gonna still make it out alive. Again, like I had said, I haven't dealt with much more of the AA guns after this. I don't even think like they can even like have one now in any of the sectors. So pretty crazy to think how much the lack of the AA guns for this mode is. And yeah, just it's really crazy to think what Fatal Fortress it really is for the pilot class. So interesting to experience the new perspectives. Still playing Battlefield 1 after its second year being out, and you know, now really playing with the pilot class and kind of seeing things that people were experiencing way long ago, right when the game first came out. But sometimes that's how it is for me. I kind of really like getting into certain classes and really looking into them, the ins and out of them. And like the assault class for me, it's like the class I've been really focused on when the game first came out, and then kind of working my way over, bouncing off a little bit from the scout class, and then only lately getting into more of the medic class. So maybe I'll get more into support class, which I probably should, because those light machine guns are pretty intense. But bounced a little bit more now lately onto the pilot class, as you can see in this game, just to see what I can do. I'm still like, I think, a level 6 pilot. Maybe I'm ranked up in this game, who knows, maybe I'm a level 7 now, but you know, who really knows? It's the odds of me getting to 100 very slim though, I'll tell you that. So going to try to do another flyby. Gonna get my spotting camera ready this time. Man, it makes me miss the spotting pigeon a lot. We got a chance to try that out on the community test environment for a little bit, and I'll tell you what, that was a pretty fun gadget to use, as I'm gonna basically massacre the enemy team right there. That was pretty crazy. But yeah, I tell you what, having that spotting camera, it's one of the coolest things I think in the game, and having it not work for the pigeon, kind of unfortunate. I probably would have played a little bit more scout class, even though I felt how it originally was leaning on the OP side, if not OP, just the rate that you could have it pop back up in your gadgets, which I assume DICE had that on purpose because they wanted people to play it out and test it out more. I'm sure they would have made it where it wouldn't just show up on your, you know, back in your gadgets as a just passive like reload, where you didn't have to get resupplied by a support class. So yeah, I'm sure they would have nerfed it a bit, but even then, I tell you what, that spotting camera was pretty insane. I would just sit there and just post up, and right when I would hear it show back up in my inventory, I'd release that pigeon out in the battlefield, just keep spotting enemy players. It was, I don't know, it was the funnest time I had spotting enemy players since BF1's been out. So having it on the heavy bomber is making me like think, wow, like maybe I should get on the heavy bomber more, because I tell you what, just being able to spot enemy players is pretty cool. Especially the massive amount you can do, as I'm gonna blindly kind of drop more bombs down. Now I got some fog coming in, it's gonna give me some cover, but it's gonna be more of a hindrance, and it's really, I think, gonna help me out because I can't see anything now, and I don't want to run into the mountains. And I'm trying to play as aggressive as I can, as many flybys as I can do, even though turning this thing is a nightmare. And yeah, just gonna try to do whatever I can to, you know, just lay down as much firepower as I can, as I'm barely gonna pull up just in time to miss hitting the fortress itself. And then I'm gonna try to swoop back around, and again, haven't been able to hold them off one time. So I mean, this is why I usually will play as an infantry player, because I'm like, even I'm only died so many times, it's, for me at least, not satisfying enough. I like to still know that, okay, at least I was on the territory, at least I was able to do something. That's just how I like to play. Of course, if you're only the pilot class player and you just play pilot class non-stop, it's not a big deal to me. But normally for me, I again like to try to at least know I'm on a territory and just flanking people, or even probably taking out the tanks. It seems like some of the tanks, they were able to, you know, help their teammates push their way up, and probably could have taken out the tanks a little bit more. As I think I'm, what am I, 39-2 right there, so not all too bad. As I was trying to swing around there, I don't know, I want to swing around a little bit better, as I got a attack plane on me. Still got teammates in there, so trying is tough, because you're like, you wanna, there's so many things you got going on. You're getting shot, trying to position yourself well enough to lay some bombs down, and even then I didn't feel like I was positioned well enough. But that attack plane is gonna run himself into me, and yeah, I'm gonna barely. Look at that. That's pretty crazy. I don't know how much more I can go in the water, but for me at least, that felt pretty crazy right there. This little dip into the water, able to get out with full health, so that was pretty nice. But this is what I was talking about. I can't see anything. I have no awareness where I'm at. I was trying to look on my things, see if I could see anything with my altitude, so I wonder if I need to get in the first person to see that maybe. But yeah, I was trying to get a little bit of idea where I was at in the air. You lose so much of like awareness of where you're at. It makes you rethink if you ever want to really fly in real life. But trying to come back over here, do something, as they're getting really close to capping us. Want to get it right there on A, hoping that they're all going to be right there. And I'm going to get a few of them. What is that? 3, 4, 5. Not bad. 6, 7, 8. There we go. Not too bad, I guess. I mean, I was catching them, but you know, they're still right there at our last sector, and they still got 3 more or 2 more pushes to go after that. So, you know, it's making me doubt what my strat here was. But it was definitely pretty cool to try out using Heavy Bomber on this map at least, and seeing how exactly it would play out with that first sector, especially them not having any of the A guns to have to deal with. So that was pretty interesting. But now, almost was able to heal myself, I think, right about here. No, I was able to get myself a little bit more alive to do another, I think, or there we go right there. Yeah, they're able to stop me just enough right on that last one where they're gonna, yeah, get me right there. So I need to heal myself just a little bit more, and I fell up a little bit short. Was able to get back in the Heavy Bomber again though, but was going to show up just a little bit too late to do any more damage there on enemy players down below. So yeah, just fell a little bit short, and that's where it felt like this whole game. I was just a little bit too late to really do any damage. And like when I could really help my teammates out, felt like I just wasn't there. So a little bit of a bummer. They're going to make it. We're going to fall a little bit behind and lose this round. But that was another look at a level 6 pilot, I guess, play with Heavy Bomber. Pretty interesting stuff. But that's it for you guys today. Again, I appreciate you guys being here. I am Livin, and I'll catch you guys again later. Peace.
The Ottomans launched an audacious attack on the Suez Canal, the key to maintaining British dominance in the world.